Hey, hey. Life ain't always what it seems. Open up your eyes, take a look behind the scenes. Mobbing through the streets, everybody's still asleep. Wake up in the morning, but it's just another dream. Trapped in your head if you wanna break free. Elevate your mind if you're trying to find a key. Everybody got eyes and they still can't see. Wake up in the morning, but it's just another dream. It's just another dream. It's just another dream.
All right.
Okay, check. 1, 2. Steelo Free TV, welcome. We got a special guest. Do you refer to yourself as Reina LaFlame?
Yeah.
Okay,
Reina,
Reina LaFlame.
aka Reina LaFlame.
Tell them a little bit about yourself, your socials, where they can find you, and what you do.
Yeah, of course. I am a tarot reader, tarot diviner. I also am a co-host on a podcast, The Bridge Between Podcasts, 888. You can find me on Instagram at Reina LaFlame. Also follow my podcast, The Bridge Between 888. Check us out. We talk about spirituality, life. We also interview musicians and all types of people, rappers, artists of every kind. So very excited to be here. Thank you for having me,
Yeah,
Steelo.
for sure. Thank you for coming. She's done a reading for me before. She's great at tarot reading. So
thanks.
that's cool. Her podcast is super dope too. I've checked a few episodes out. So follow her. And I guess we'll get right into it. You just heard a preview of the album, so I'm excited to have you here to talk about it today, and I'm super excited to drop it. What's today, the 20th?
Today is the 20th.
Today's the 20th. You'll probably be seeing this a little bit later, but album is going to be dropping, Lights and Shadows EP, December 4th, so I'm excited about that, but let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So we just had another little recap. Like he said, I loved it. First impressions, it's a very SoCal, California vibe. Are you from California, I might ask? Okay,
absolutely.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
Born and raised in California.
Yep, Carson,
okay,
California.
Perfect. It definitely gave that vibe, especially coming from, I'm born and raised in Southern California as well. It gave that beachy vibe, but what I loved about it too is that the beats were awesome. The beats were amazing. And then who also produced your beats?
So I have this formula where I'll do like a demo in my home studio, and then I'll bring it to Angel House Studios with my mentor Drew K. Shout out Drew K. And then he'll like reproduce it and help me bring it to like the next level. So it was basically produced by me and Drew K. He did a lot of the production. He helped me out with that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love that you write all of your music as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. There's anyone else in the writing process with you, or just all you?
As far as lyrics or as far as like composition?
Both. Tell me about both.
I write all my own lyrics. Actually, I do have one other artist who's on song number 6, Theo Roland, my homeboy. Shout out to him. There's like 1 or 2 lines he helped me with, but he's, you know how it is, like when you're in a session and you're vibing and someone might throw you like a line or like help you with the melody or something like that. But for the most part, the writing was mostly me, but sometimes I do have other people help with stuff. I was actually in a band for like 8 years or something like that. So when you're in a writing process and it's collaborative, it's actually really therapeutic and helpful to have other people and like different sets of ears and stuff like that, like when you're writing something.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can only imagine. Like, I feel like that's the whole beauty of writing and working in the studio with other people. So I just had to know if you were in it all by yourself. But I love that you had other people around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course. But so how long have you been engineering? Did you always start making music like that, or?
So basically I started writing raps when I was like 10, and then I got into like playing guitar when I was like, I think I graduated middle school, and that's when I got my first guitar. And then I started recording when I was like 18 or 19. Okay. And at the time, the dude that I was producing with, or that was producing for me, there were just some things that I would be like, man, you got to change this here. I'm not really feeling this sound. Maybe it has to be this way. So eventually, when my mom found out I did music, she put me in an apprenticeship program at Angel House with Drew, and that's when I learned to produce. So I've been producing since I was like 21 or 22, producing and engineering for about, so 33 now, so like 10, 11 years or something like that.
Okay, awesome. Yes, I love that. Okay, yeah, well seasoned. I can tell the
Yeah,
beats
thank
are
you.
very
Thank
well
you.
mixed. The engineering is very nice. All the sounds perfect on the tape. Like, I love how you let the beat ride for a little bit before you start kind of spitting on the tape, because I feel like nowadays people are so quick to get on the track, but you let it give us a chance to get into the beat, catch a vibe of what the song is gonna like feel like, and sounds great in the car too. So definitely when you check it out, play it in the car, you're gonna love it. It also, there were certain songs where I was like, this would be so fun to roller skate to. I know that's so random. I don't know what you're thinking about when you're making the beats. Like, do you envision like you doing something when you make a beat for a certain song? Like for me, it was Driftin'. Driftin' had such a fun beat. I feel like roller skating to that song would be super fun. So shout out to all my roller skaters. You should drift to that one. Literally.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. I do. Sometimes I do this thing too that I'll just put like a TV on in the background and turn the music down, and like, let's say I'm going for like a party vibe, I'll put it maybe on like a comedy or something like that. Or if it's more of like a dark vibe, I'll put on like, you know, like a Boys in the Hood or like a Menace to Society, or like maybe even like a Death Note from anime, you know what I mean? So it kind of gives you like, it gives you kind of like a vibe to go for, you know what I mean? Like, you're not only like hearing the sounds, but you're also trying to match the sounds to like a visual or something like that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So, but as far as thinking about, I didn't really think too much about how it's going to translate in a club or something like that, or like in a crowd or at a show, which is what I usually do. But for this one, I mean, you know, when you listen to the tape, you'll know that it's all coming from in here, you know what I mean? So this was at a time in my life where I was going through like a lot of turmoil, and the album kind of tells that story. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
no, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of there's a lot of lights and shadows to the album. So or to the EP. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's beautiful. I would say you touch on a lot of notes, like your love of Hennessy, which I think is wild. I'm not a Hennessy drinker, but shout out to all the Henny drinkers. I respect you, mad respect. Like, I can't do it. But what made you feel like speaking on like your issues with, you know, alcoholism or like addiction and things like that? Like, what made you want to open up about that?
I mean, for this album or this project, I mean, I was really hoping to like connect with people and really have stuff resonate with people. So I was trying to let myself be vulnerable, because I feel like if people could connect to that, or people could hear it and resonate with it, like, it'll help them too. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of went from an artist that's trying to be like, you know, like, you have that dream, you want to make it to the top, or you want to do this, or you want to do that. And then like, as life goes on, those kind of things got less important to me. But I still liked music, so I really wanted to make sure that whatever I did was gonna, like, you know, touch people, you know what I mean? So with that being said, I really wanted to make sure that I was vulnerable and tell like all sides of the story, and really give people a vivid picture of like what I was going through at the time that I was going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like the EP is very relatable. The situations that you're talking about, your trials and tribulations with love and things like that. And I commend you for being open about that. I feel like that's really hard for young men nowadays to talk about these type of situations. And you did it in a very beautiful way.
Thank you.
Also very, how do you say, like, youthful at the time, like while you're recording this. Like, I know you said you're 33, but it just sounds like very young. Like, anyone at all ages can relate to it, even someone older, I think. So
absolutely.
yeah, I love that you still kept it youthful. And there's definitely like vibes in the tape. Like, the first two songs I feel like are very speaking your truth, speaking about your darkness. Like, which one was your favorite songs on the album though?
They're all my favorite songs, but for different reasons. I think right now, the one I'm getting a lot of love for is Lights and Shadows. I have a snippet on Instagram, even though it's not out. People, like, my homeboy called me today and he was like, man, like, I love that song, bro. And I love the fact that even though we grew up in the hood and we grew up like on that type of music, it's not like on that type of time, you feel me? It's really like about like life and really like I said, being vulnerable, you know what I mean? So I'd probably say, like, if I was to pick a favorite right now, it'd probably be Lights and Shadows.
Okay, yeah, I love that. Yeah, that one's a really good one. The double entendres throughout the whole thing are amazing. Speaking of music that you used to listen to back in the day, what are some of your inspirations for this particular project?
So this particular project, for sure, I'll have to say Swimming by Mac Miller. That's one of the albums that really got me through like a dark time. You know what I mean? So that was really one that really resonated with me. God Loves Ugly by Atmosphere. SOS SZA, that one that just came out. SZA's just, I love SZA.
Yeah, shout out to SZA.
Let me see what else. Damn, I thought I would be more prepared for this question, but I'm blanking right now. But yeah, like those, for the most part, yeah. Swimming by Mac Miller, SOS by SZA, After Hours by The Weeknd.
Okay,
and,
okay.
His
We love
more
After
recent one
Hours.
too, Don FM. So
Really?
yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I haven't listened to that recent one, the recent Weekend album, but interesting.
you
I
should check it
definitely
out.
felt like a bit of a Kid Cudi vibe, like to the first song, or like it was giving me like Pursuit of Happiness, or like in that era of his music making, because his music has grown and changed so many different times.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I love that. That's interesting.
Thank you.
I love that you said SZA's album, because she was definitely very vulnerable on that album and was talking her shit. So that I love that inspired you to talk your shit a little bit, especially on the song Love. I love how like literally the differences, it's like a story. You're like literally telling a story throughout the song, and the beat's amazing. You flow really good with the vocals that are on that song, so I loved that song for you. But also Lights and Shadows, that was your favorite on the album. So that's also the name of the EP. So what made you want to name the EP Lights and Shadows? I love the name, by the way.
So I've been diving into like a lot of spirituality, and you'll hear that in the album, but I feel like I try to do it to a point where it's more relatable as opposed to like shoved down your throat. And one of the universal laws is the law of duality. So the law of duality is basically like all opposites are reconciled. They're the same thing. They're just different degrees of each other. So basically where you have lights, you have shadows. But not only that, the album it's a story. So it basically goes from me being, basically not taking responsibility, blaming others, and then you kind of have this story where it's like you go from that to finding ways to have gratitude about whatever you're going through, whether it's good or bad, taking responsibility, not only forgiving the other person for hurting you, but also forgiving yourself and taking responsibility for the things that you did that went wrong with you. You know what I mean? So basically that's why like I decided to go with Lights and Shadows. I was almost going to go with like Angels and Demons, because I kind of say that a few times in the album too, but I really wanted something that showcased perspective of duality.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that you have your little drops of spirituality here and there. Like you mentioned Mercury retrograde on the first track, and I love that. And it's true, like what you're talking about in that moment of the song is like a double entendre when you say Mercury retrograde. And I love how you threw a little tarot card shout out in there, and I was like, hey, shout out to that. But yeah, you threw a bunch of cool little gems in there, which I love, because I think that's the best way to put people onto spirituality, is to like drop little hints here and there, and then like spark that seed, or like drop that seed in their mind, and then eventually they're going to be like, oh, like I wonder what he was talking about Mercury retrograde, like what does that mean? And they'll eventually Google it or whatever.
And then they go down a rabbit hole, and then they see, because a lot of people, they might think like it's mumbo jumbo or whatever, but when you really dive into it, especially like if you go into like all the ancient traditions, basically like they talk about the energy that you receive from the constellations and how the stars are a big part of basically what's going on, on Earth or whatnot. And that's basically the law of correspondence. So whenever you hear as above, so below, that means whatever is happening on the higher planes is directly connected to whatever's happening on the lower planes. And, another way to say that is as within, so without. So whatever is going on within inside yourself is going to affect what's going on around you.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, and everyone is a reflection and a mirror in your life, and it really, your inner reflects your outer, like you said. I love that you mentioned that. And that's an awesome way to bring up like the laws of duality and just like let people know about these types of things. So I commend you for doing that as well. Not only did you get vulnerable, you opened your heart, but you also dropped a couple knowledge about spirituality. Like that's going to open people's minds and hearts. So I love that. Overall, was that the theme of the album, just duality and like that law, or what was the theme?
The theme was really just telling a story, because basically when I broke up with my ex, I basically told myself, I was like, yo, you got two options. You can spiral downwards like you usually do, or you can spiral upwards, and you can do everything that you know is good for you. Working out, breaking these addictions and taking yourself away from like, drugs and alcohol and things like that. And really like, just really trying to grow and really trying to grow without hating the process, as SZA would say, you know what I mean? So basically like there's not a lot of artists. Exactly. There's not like a lot of artists that I'll listen to their album and then I'll want to listen to it again. So when I find like a really good album, like, like a SOS by SZA or like a After Hours by The Weeknd, like man, like I listened to SOS probably for like 3 months straight, like every day.
It's fire.
You know what I
It
mean?
goes
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Control was everything when it first came out. So she's just really good at like, you know, just doing that, like get into the thick of it, as I like to say, because she was really talking. So I love that she really brought that out of you. It was a really great project. I love how like the album cover was also like very watery, and how your album cover is like very purple and like light and dark at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like giving that sort of energy. It's giving the vibe of the album. But yeah, that's awesome. Love that for you.
Thank you.
What else? So you said about a failed relationship. What is it that you want to tell to other people that have gone through tough things like that, or, you know, just had their issues with their love life? Because a lot of people are going through it right now. Can I just say Venus was just in retrograde. I don't know if y'all pay attention to astrology, but look into that. Venus was just in retrograde for like 6 months this past year. There's been a lot of eclipses, which usually means ends of relationships, divorces, people just making lots of intense changes to their life. So I feel like a lot of people are going to love what you have to say. But
Speaking on that, I saw on Twitter that the Swimming album by Mac Miller actually re-entered the Billboard 200 or whatever.
Oh, no way.
So I think, you know, that's worth mentioning. But
hey, shout out Mac Miller.
Yeah,
Rest
yeah.
in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
So basically, my advice to people would just be basically, you might even say this is another theme of the album, but I feel like when you have those emotions, instead of really trying to shut them out, what you really got to do is like really sit with them and feel them, like feel those emotions. And, you know, like you got to get down to the center of it. So basically what I would do is like, all right, why do I feel sad? I feel sad because I lost this person. Why do I feel sad? Because I lost this person. Like now I regret it. Regret is basically being mad at yourself for doing something that got you into a position that you didn't want to be in, basically. So you have to go, you know, forgive yourself for that. So forgive yourself, you know what I mean? Feel your emotions, because basically if you bottle them up and pretend they're not there, they're going to resurface at some point. You know what I mean?
They're gonna,
Whether
like,
it's
leak out.
whether it's when you see that person again or whatever it is. So I wanted to make sure that that I really felt my emotions and let them pass, and so I could really understand them and really grow from what I was going through and learn the lessons. Because if there's anything that you learn, especially when you're diving into like spirituality and things like that, is if you don't learn the lessons, they're going to come back to you in a different form, whether it's a different person, a different time in your life. They're going to come back to you because the universe is trying to teach you something. And if you refuse to learn the lesson, like it's going to be relentless. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah, the
that's my
universe be
advice.
whooping you up, man. Be whooping, be beating people. I'm so sorry for you, but you have to learn the lesson. But I'm so glad you're mentioning this. It's like a karmic loop if you're into quantum leap, like quantum physics and all that stuff, which I love the timeline jumping.
Oh, yeah, the Mandela effect?
Yeah. You talked about jumping timelines. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
you better mention those timeline jumping, because for real, like, so whoever's watching this, look into timeline jumping, look into the Mandela effect. Just go ahead and go down that rabbit hole. But I won't get into it too much because I want them to look into it. But yeah, I love that you mentioned that, like, that we have control of our reality and how we have to take accountability. That's all like really, really important stuff. I feel like you're just growing.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you're really learning from these lessons and then writing it out too. Like, I feel like another thing is that we go through this and we kind of have like an internal battle with it, and then we never really speak about it out loud.
Yeah.
And you're talking about it out loud, and I feel like that helps really release it a
Oh yeah,
lot
absolutely.
more.
Well, not only that, but like when you say something out loud, like let's say you're confiding in a friend, as soon as you speak it, you know, if they give you validation, be like, oh girl, that's not crazy, or like whatever it is, like all of a sudden you don't feel so crazy about it, or all of a sudden because someone else could relate to it, like it's more real to you, you know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
don't feel crazy or something like that. And not only that, but like if you write it, it's like a soda bottle. When you shake it up and then you open it, like you're relieving all the pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of how it is when you have to let things out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel like I like to journal. I've been slacking lately, God bless, but I do like to journal. And I was saying to friends earlier, like last week, that it feels like you can't really get over something until, or at least for me, until I write it down. So I like write out like everything, like how I felt throughout the whole situation, how I felt after. Like I feel like I need to write that shit out, because or else it's like it just stays inside of you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Something you need to like move that energy somehow. I have to just like recognize that the shit happened. Like, yeah, I didn't like it. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest shit ever, but I have to recognize it and like release it and really let it go and put it outside of me, because or else it just like replays in your mind. And also I feel like things sound a lot crazier. Like you tell yourself like, oh, it's okay, that's fine, but then when you write it out or you tell a friend, you're like, oh, that was actually traumatic. Like, that was actually an issue. Like, oh, I actually should have been more, took this more seriously, or been more gentle with myself at the time, gave myself more grace, etc., etc. So very important. So all of our men out here, please speak it out, talk it out in
don't
a
be scared to
healthy
get
way.
help. Don't be scared to reach out to somebody. You know what I mean? I'm blessed to be able to have a few homies who I could just call up on the phone.
I was just about to ask, who's your support system? I want to know. Shout out the homies.
My homie Jake Steez, man, he's one of them for sure. Check him out, Jacob Amir, Koreshi and Co on Instagram. He makes jewelry and shit like that, but he's just someone that I've known since like middle school, like 7th grade. You know what I mean? We've been like that for like years and years and years. So he's someone I could call.
We love a day one homie.
My homie Theo Roland, who's actually on the album, he's on track number 6. My homie Giono, he's actually on the album too. I think he's track number 4. He's the one on Lights and Shadows. He was in my band before. My homie Tight, that was in my band as well. Like I'm blessed to have like a handful of good people that I could really open up to and really make sure that that, when I need to be heard about something, that there's people around to hear me and like help me go through things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. Speaking of you being in the band, what's it like being a solo artist versus being in the band? Because I feel like that's a totally different process.
It's a lot of give and take. There's a lot of good things about being in a band, and then there's also a lot of good things about being a solo artist. Sometimes as a solo artist, it's kind of hard because, as far as like promoting and doing like the real groundwork and like even like writing songs and things like that is much easier to do in a group, because like I said earlier, you have like a lot of different people who are a part of the project, or you have different sets of ears on the beat, or, different opinions on how this should go or how this should sound, or whatever the case may be. But then other times, like, like let's say like as a solo artist, like you don't have to go, because there were 6 of us. So now I don't have to go through 5 other people when I want to change something, or if like this song doesn't sound right, but this guy thinks it sounds right. I don't think we should play this live. All the other guys think we should play it live, or like whatever the case is. Like it's a lot easier to make decisions by yourself that you think is better for the sound. And sometimes when you're in a band or like you're in a group, sometimes you might have to compromise. So there's a lot of give and take as far as being in a group versus being a solo artist.
Okay, yeah, no, definitely, that definitely makes sense. There's a bunch of pros and cons. Okay, nice. That's interesting. What kind of music was your band, by the way?
It was like hip hop with a little bit of reggae. It was like it was basically like Sublime mixed with NWA with a little bit of Bruno Mars in there, because it was kind of like influenced by pop as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
no,
it was actually a really fun time, and honestly, I really miss those days, man. Shout out to Suspect Dead, man. Shout out to Slimmy Hen Dog, who's actually he was my drummer, but he's actually the one on Drifting.
Oh, okay.
So that was him.
Love that song.
Shout out to Ed, my bass player, Timo, my lead guitarist, engineer. Shout out to Type, my keys player, and Giono. Shout out to those guys, man. I love those guys.
Yeah, love that. Love that you had the experience to be in a band and to be the solo artist. Yeah, I love that people are bringing back the bands. I think that's really important. And did you play live? Did you guys have live instruments? Like you said,
yeah, absolutely.
You guys playing live. Okay, yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, keys, drums, obviously. Love that. What else was I going to say? Spirituality. I want to bring it back to that.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite part of the journey so far, since you're learning to love the journey? What's your favorite part? You need to give me something, because I know it's tough.
I think the favorite part is like really like discovering new parts of myself and just finding out new things, you know what I mean? And just trying things differently. You know what I mean? Like I was telling you, you and Courtney before. Shout out to Courtney, by the way.
Yeah, shout out Courtney. Shout out.
I was telling you guys that I took my first smoke break since I was 16. I took my first smoke break when I was like 32, and that was last year, and it was like a 47-day break. But it's just I was challenging myself to try things I never tried before, and feel ways I never felt. Like like I never would have thought that taking a break from weed would make me more calm and collected and more aware of the things around me, because like, and you know, like I was mentioning, like when I smoke now, it gives me anxiety. So basically it's starting to be like, basically like I'm getting the adverse effects of weed than I used to, you know what I mean? It used to help me with these things. And then now when I go back to it, it's like, it's kind of taking me back to, it's basically adverse, like it's not helping me with those things basically. But
it's doing the opposite now.
But I'm learning like a lot. Like gratitude is one of the biggest things you learn in spirituality. Is just like, even the bad things, like you got to learn to be grateful, because once you're in a state of gratitude, basically reality is a mirror loop of your thoughts. So basically, if you are constantly affirming with your thoughts that you're grateful about things, reality is going to throw things about you to be grateful for. You know what I mean? And not only that, but a big theme about spirituality is going back to your inner child. You know what I mean? And making sure that that you have a relationship with your inner child, and that's a lot about maintaining a high vibration and finding happiness, because you know, children are happy, children are innocent, they're not corrupted by, you know, the woes of the world growing up and shit. So as soon as you're able to reconnect with that and kind of be a child again, it kind of shows you life in a different light, you know what I mean? So you start to have fun again, you start to see things in a different light. I'm more caring, I'm more patient with people, and that's just, you know, that's a lot of the things I've been learning through spirituality. So I'm super grateful that I could really dive into that, you know what I mean? And you know, look at life from a different perspective, because even for a while, like I was just in so many bouts of depression, I was even thinking about quitting music, you know what I mean? So
So glad you didn't.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Yeah, no, respect to you taking that initiative to do things that are different, to do things that make you feel uncomfortable, things that you've never done before. I think that people think that as time goes on that you can never change, or that you can never be different, or like just because you've done this for like X amount of years, like doesn't mean you can't do anything else besides that, you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
yeah, no, that's awesome that you've been growing and trying to figure that out and experimenting with different things. I've also been considering it myself. Snoop Dogg tricked us all. He made it saying that he quit smoking weed. Can I tell you? So one of my jobs, I work at a dispensary, and people have been coming in upset about Snoop Dogg. They're like, did you hear he stopped smoking weed? Like, should I stop smoking too? Was it for a health reason? I wonder why. And I'm like,
the funny thing was, he was like, please respect my privacy at this time. And people will say that when they're going through something like, you know, when they're making an announcement that they have like some kind of terminal illness or something like that.
Yeah, so people thought he was sick.
So my mom hit me up. She's like, what's going on with Snoop Dogg? And I was like, he just stopped smoking again, basically. And people are making like a big fuss about it.
Yeah.
But then it turns out he's doing it to, you know, promote some smokeless bonfire pit or whatever it is.
The smokeless man, the marketing team, shout out that PR team, y'all went crazy. You guys must have been like millennials or Gen Z or whatever the hell they call it, because you guys are tricksters. So that is so funny. It had people thinking about a whole lot of other things, not about the damn. He gave us
smoking before recently too, right?
Yeah, he did. So people were like, "Oh, he's doing it again for real." Like we have like a cardboard cutout of Snoop Dogg like by our little reception area, and I'm like, "Take that shit down. It's bad for business." People would keep coming in talking about, "Should I quit?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't know." But also, people should do it for themselves, not just because Snoop Dogg did it. So yeah, I'm also thinking about doing that for myself too, just to take a little break. I love the flower. I love the plant. I love the flower. It's always done me right so far, but obviously I've never taken a long enough break to really see. So that's exciting. So love that. What else was I going to say? Money on My Mind. Okay, I liked Money on My Mind. It also gave me like that's the second song on the album. It gave me a very like ASAP Rocky trill vibe for some reason. Like it brought
the
me back.
pitch down vocals, you know what I mean? Like the slower beat.
Yeah, it gave me that type of vibe. So I love that you said that you were watching movies and stuff like that. Like that's crazy that you were watching movies while you were like writing.
Yeah, the funny thing about that one is that beat, it always gave me like a Batman vibe. So when I did the video, I don't know if you saw the video or not.
It gave me New York vibes, yeah.
Did you see the video?
I haven't watched it yet. I gotta watch it.
So check out the video, because there's this skit in the middle where I'm like, I basically play the Joker. And then you have like this dude that we kidnapped, and there's like this whole scene with like back and forth or whatnot, basically. And yeah, like I really that song's basically, I called it a sore thumb today. Someone commented on Instagram because I posted a snippet, because it kind of doesn't fit the rest of the album, but it kind of does because it's track number 2. So basically you're going from track number 1 where it's like, you know, like blaming everybody else, like poor me, self-pity and all this and that. And basically like when you're in that stage, like the next thing to do is like ignore it all, right? Like not dealing with the emotions. And what's the first thing you do? All right, I'm all about my money. I'm all about my cash. Like I'm just doing this, I'm doing that. So basically I feel like that's really how that fit into there. And on that note, the album is really like almost going through like the 5 stages of grief. You know what I mean? From going from like denial basically all the way to, you know, like all those stages through until you get to acceptance. You know what I mean? Like you got anger and depression, you got bargaining, you have hints of all that in there. And that's, I really feel like the album really kind of tells that story. And that's why it's basically, again, to bring it back to lights and shadows, you know, you're kind of going from the dark to the light. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's basically why I line the album up that way. So where it's like when you get to the top of the morning, thank you, you're finally like, oh shit, like everything's okay. You know what I mean? Like when you start to get to drifting or you start to get to lights and shadows, like the first line of Lights and Shadows is nowadays you don't gotta mind me, in the end I hope you really find peace, which is basically saying like, damn, it's all good now, like it's all love, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's all love always.
So basically at that point in the album it's really like, all right, like I've done the shadow work, I've done the things that I need to do to be okay, like, and I just want to let you know, like, even though like I was bitter and I was hurt before, like I understand why we had to go through what we had to go through, and it's all good now. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you can definitely feel the transition from the first 2 songs to the third song to the fourth. I like the way you did it. I felt that. Yeah, I felt like the first song, I felt like the second song, like Money on Your Mind, like I love how you also said she rolls the 8th in her woods, because she's not smoking no grams, because period. The fuck? Yeah, if we're smoking, we're really smoking. Love that. But yeah, I think it was the perfect setup. Like you felt the story throughout it the whole time. And now that I know that you watched movies while you were making it, it like made me feel like I could definitely see the picture. I can definitely see the vision. Like it was given like how Kodak always says that he paints pictures, and that's why they call him Kodak, because he definitely gives you a vision. So you're definitely painting a picture. And I love that because Kodak is a Gemini and you're a Sagittarius and he's your opposition. But obviously opposites attract, they still get along. But I love that you were still able to bring that out. And you said you have a Pisces moon on the on the
okay. See, I'm throwing little bits and pieces of, you know, things in there, you know what I mean?
Okay, Sagittarius with the Pisces moon. I love that. That's emotional.
Nah, one time this girl asked me, she was like, what's your boom sign? And I was like, Pisces. And she was like, and you're a Sagittarius? You're super emotional. And I'm just like, I've just always been in touch with my emotions, you know what I mean? Like that's just how I always been, you know?
As you should. I feel like that's a really good quality to have, especially as a man. I know some people think that's not manly, but I think it's really like weak and like unmanly and like not cool to like just act like everything is okay or like you have no emotions. Like what you mean? Like you just pretending everything's okay? That's kind of brazy. Also, I don't know if you've ever listened to Kyle, the rapper. He has a mixtape called Beautiful Loser. Have you ever listened to his album at all? He gets really vulnerable on that tape and has I feel like you should listen to it. Maybe it'll inspire you or anything like that. But that also gave me that vibe. So I was wondering if you had listened to that tape at all.
No, not yet.
No, okay, awesome. That tape came out in like 2014, 2013, 2017, around that time. But very similar in the sense of like, you know, a man being vulnerable about love and relationships. So I love that you were doing that. What's next for Steelo? Like, what's next? So are you going to perform? Are you going to start performing this?
I'll definitely start performing. I'll be doing some, hopefully getting into some showcases and trying to really like get the project out there or whatever. I'm already starting to work on new stuff. I got a whole list of just ideas in my phone just for whatever the next project's going to be. But yeah, I mean, you know, the future's open, honestly. I don't really have a set plan. But I really feel like, you know, like once you're in alignment with what your purpose is and really, you know, maintaining a high vibration, like, you know, things will come to you easily. You know what I mean? Like when you're in connection with your higher self, like it's easier to, you know, not be misguided and really be able to figure out what the next step is. And with that being said, I don't really know what the next step is. I just have a few ideas of what I want to do. I don't know if I want to do a full length project or if I want to maybe just pop out singles here and there for now and shit. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then I know you said earlier that you have one music video for
Money on My Mind.
Money on My Mind. How many music videos do you have for the whole EP?
There's two. So there's Driftin'. Driftin' was the first one. That one was released about a year ago today, like somewhere around today, last year. That one got put out.
Okay, happy anniversary to that music video.
Thank you.
Check it out. Driftin',
And
Steelo.
then and then Money on My Mind. So we just got two right now.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna do one for Love. I got a few concepts in mind. I really like to get creative with the concept of the videos. But yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
you
really
have
too
really
sure
good
yet.
music videos. I love your music videos. I feel like they're all like a story and bring me back to the days of like when I used to watch music videos on like VH1 in the mornings on like MTV, like
Yeah,
those type of
106
music
and Park.
videos.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
those type of music videos. I feel like nowadays a lot of the music videos are the same. Like it's a bank robbery. It's like like it's twerking in the club, or we're in a boxing ring and there's bitches twerking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not mad at it. We love ass, okay? We love that. We love, shout out to all the strippers, okay? But I'm just saying, you tell a little story with each one and I love it. I love the production. Love it all. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I also think I was playing the album for a friend of mine, and she also thinks it would be really fun to hear you perform it live, just because the beats are really fun. Even the darker, the shadowy, more songs are still really fun. So I feel like it would be really nice to see you perform this. So when you do, make sure you let us all know. So
Yeah, so December 9th. So the project will be out on the 4th, which is my birthday. And then we're going to do a show on the 9th. So, if you're in the area, come by, follow me at Steelo Free. Obviously, you probably follow me if you're watching this or whatever, but, look out for that. I'm going to be posting a flyer in the next few days. I got some really cool artists that just confirmed to come play. So I'm really excited about it.
Yay, awesome. Yeah, we love that. So December 4th, that is when Lights and Shadows is officially dropping everywhere, right? On all platforms? Yep, on all platforms. So please check it out, give it a listen, comment, like, share, subscribe, what the things that you liked about it. Follow you on Instagram, comment on your Instagram, let us know, and keep us posted about these new music videos. Definitely, I think when you drop the tape, let us know about the music videos again. We're super excited for the show on December 9th. I will most likely be there, fingers crossed, as long as work allows. But yeah, that's really exciting.
Thank you.
Whatchamacallit?
What was your favorite song on the project? Do you have a favorite?
What was my favorite song? Okay, man, I have so I loved the first song for sure because it just gave me that like Cali like vibe. It was just a good opener. I love the beat. But I would say Driftin' was probably my favorite, and Lights and Shadows.
Okay.
Lights and Shadows
Nice.
and
Thank you.
Driftin'
Thank
were
you.
like both of my favorites. I thought they were really good, but I loved every song. I'm not gonna lie, every song was really good. Like I just caught myself like singing along to Driftin' when I had turned the music, when I had turned it off, and I was like, okay, this shit is sticking in my head. Like I'm fucking with it. Yeah. Love was also really, really good. I just love all the lyricism throughout the whole. Like your lyrics were really good. You were really like really talking that good talk, you know what I mean? Like you really spin. Like I feel like people be rapping, but like it's a very simple rap, you know what I mean? This one you kind of makes you think a little bit, which I love.
It's a new generation right now, you know what I mean? When I was growing up, my favorite rapper was Jay-Z, and then I listened to like a lot of Mos Def and Kweli, who I got in. I started to listen to them because I heard The College Dropout by Kanye West. And, and even he's like a big lyricist, you know what I mean? He's, there's a few songs that, is a little different on, but, like for the most part, like when you listen to College Dropout, like you could tell like he was a big lyricist as well, or at least like very lyricism centered, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. I love that. So, okay, speaking of lyrics, when you're writing, do you are you writing by hand or are you typing on your phone? Just because I know everybody's different. I'm always curious because I know niggas used to have Blackberries and shit, and they'd be like, I only write on the Blackberry. You know what I mean? So like, I want to know, what are you putting this pen to paper or what?
More recently, it's been the Notes app on my phone.
Okay.
Before I would write in notebooks too. Like I would be in a studio. Like if I'm in a studio session, like I'm writing in a notebook.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But that's also not to say there have been times where I'm in a studio session and I'll just write it on my phone or whatever. But it's weird because people ask me about writer's block. I was actually on my homie show. Shout out to Jay New, Talk That Podcast. he asked me about writer's block, and I don't really think about writer's block as writer's block because I feel like if you acknowledge something, the more energy you give it, the more it's gonna fuck with you.
Yep.
So I kind of really think of it more as like I'm just not as creative right now as I usually am. You know what I mean? And with that being said, like it's weird because when I'm in the gym, I've been working out a lot. You get into this like creative mode, like you get into this vibration where you're just like things come to you. So I've been like in between my sets and I'm like thinking of lyrics and shit like that. I'm like, oh shit, like let me go write that down real quick. You know what I mean? So like there's not really just one way that I write it down, but I mean for the most part, I guess I could say I write them on my phone now. You know what I mean?
Okay, got you. Right on your phone. I love that you said when you're at the gym, like lyrics start coming to you. I feel like because when you're at the gym, there's really that like clearing your mind aspect of when you're working out. Like all you can focus on is like lifting that weight, pushing that up, et cetera, finishing that set, like pushing through. So I feel like because of that mind clearing aspect to working out, and probably the serotonin and the dopamine that starts flooding through your brain and shit, makes it easier for you to like get clear thoughts. I feel like when I go to the gym, I love working out because I feel like it helps me when I'm angry. Helps me like release
mind,
energy.
body, and soul. It's the three things that you wouldn't think they go together, but at the end of the day, they do. You know what I mean? Like when you feel good, I mean, when you work out, you feel good in your body, but you also feel good about your mind. And like that's the other thing with yoga. We were talking about yoga earlier, and yoga is really not just about. People think it's about stretching or just really strengthening your
way
core,
deeper than that.
which it is, but also like. You know, especially when you do like hip stretches, like they're saying like a lot of emotions and things get trapped in your body. And not only that, but like when you have, it's like we're going back to as within, so without, like when you have trouble within yourself, that can manifest physically as a disease, as a, you know, throwing out your back, as a sore hip or things like that. So, you know, when you're doing yoga or when you're working out, you're just releasing things and you're really, once you respect your temple as it is and you realize that you're not your body, you're a soul inside a body, you still got to take care of your body. It kind of just, it helps you with everything else in life. You know what I mean? So like I said, like mind, body, spirit. And that's the other thing I was like, man, like I could spiral downwards or I can go upwards. You know what I mean? And one of the things was really getting into the gym and really feeling better about myself because I've never been this fit in my life. Like I played football in high school, but even then I wasn't lifting as much weights then and really being like active as much as I was. I grew up playing sports, but at the same time, like I've never been like this healthy in my life.
Yeah, you were like just naturally athletic, but never really put your mind to like, I want to like be strong or like I'm PRing and all that shit.
Exactly.
So, okay, that's awesome. I love that for you. I've also recently become a gym girly. Shout out to my bestie Courtney. She's the one that encouraged me to go to the gym. So shout out to her. And honestly, it's just been like, it's been our coping mechanism with life. You know what I mean? When in doubt, work it out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
that's the new like vibe. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
like there's just certain shit that we can't change like at this current moment, but we can like push that fucking weight. We can like go do 30 minutes on the cycle bike. We can like go do the stair machine for as long as we can. Like, you know what I mean? There's just little things that we can do that are really going to change your vibe and like the way you're feeling. So I love that you're doing that for yourself.
Thank you.
Everyone who hasn't become a gym girly man, you know what I mean?
Just try it out. You know
try
what I mean?
it. Get into it. You never know. Just start walking, even if it's just walking. Walking like 10,000 steps a day is like really life changing. It really gets your body flowing, and it helps like keeping your lymph nodes clean and things like that. Because that movement of just like slow walking. So even if it's just walking,
maybe pick up a martial art, because that's how I started. I ran into my buddy at a gas station in Lakewood. I'm like, "What are you doing all the way out here?" He's like, "I work at the UFC gym. I teach boxing conditioning classes. You should come through." So shout out to my homie Roman. That's when I started going. I started going to the gym once a week, and I was just doing boxing conditioning, just hitting the bag, learning how to throw a punch, combos, and things like that. And I always tell people too, like if they're depressed or they have trouble starting something, like it's like get a routine, get something that you can be late to. And when I say get something you can be late to, that means like, all right, I got this gym class at 6:30. Like I got to make sure I got to get there. You know what I mean? And then once you start picking that up and you get into like a routine, it starts to, like we said, like it helps you with your mental health, and it helps all other areas of your life when you have something that's, you know, not only empowering, but it's giving you a sense of identity. You know what I mean? Like I got this to look forward to. You know what I mean? And it just helped. It helped me feel better all in all. You know what I mean? And then after that, I started to just started lifting weights, and then it went from 1 day to 2 days a week, and then it went from 3 days to finally I'm in the gym 4 days a week.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
4 days a week.
Thank
4
you.
days a week. We love it. Okay, so what's your favorite? I have to ask, not music related, but what's your favorite day? Upper back day, like back and arms, leg
it's definitely
day, cardio,
chest and triceps.
day, chest and
Yeah.
triceps. Okay, that's a tough day.
I
hate that
You know
day.
what? I thought everyone's favorite exercise was bench press. I don't know why,
What?
but that's literally my
What?
favorite. Yeah.
What? Only maniacs, bro. Only maniacs. That's a crazy thing to say, man. Comment down below. What's your favorite workout, y'all? Is it chest? Is it legs? Is it arms? Because for me and my best friend Courtney, it's definitely legs. Like,
Really?
yeah,
I do
because
not
it's just
like legs.
Of course, the boys never like working out their legs. They gotta do it. They gotta do it. We gotta hold everything
You know
up.
what it is? It's the Bulgarian split squats. I don't know if you ever done those.
I do
hell yeah, I've
not
done them.
like those. I'm not looking forward to that at all. But also, with my workout plan, when I do legs, I do shoulders as well, and I really like doing shoulders too. I'll do like the military press.
Okay,
and, Arnold press, too.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, legs is definitely like that's my comfort zone. Like when in doubt, like let's just do legs. Like that'll be easy. You know. But I do Bulgarian split squats are fucking crazy, insane. Whoever was the Bulgarian that invented that, what the hell is wrong with you? But you probably got a big juicy booty, so I'm not mad at it.
For real, yeah.
So I'm not mad at it at all. Okay, all right, I respect it. But hey, get those leg days in, okay? It's important for a man to have strong legs, okay?
And you can't be running around looking like Johnny Bravo, you know what I'm saying?
Period. Johnny Bravo got all the bitches, but barely, by the skin of his teeth and chest and his big old chin. So, okay. But anyways, love that for you. Okay, nice. Lights and shadows. Speaking of, you said you were fighting demons at some point. What was the
Yeah.
demons that you were fighting specifically? Like,
I mean, that's really just like, like regret, shame, self-doubt, all of the shadows basically. Like,
Made me
when
itchy.
they talk about shadow work, you really got to go inside and really figure out what's bothering you and really just attack them. You know what I mean? Like go straight for them, because when you run away from them, they run towards you. You know what I mean?
you can't get away. Yeah.
I had this lyric in this song that's not on this project, but what did I say? I'm seeing demons when I'm sleeping. I used to run from them. Now I smile and I greet them. You know what I mean? Because it's really, you just really got to confront those things. And sometimes it feels like a fight. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing on the album is, fighting your demons, but also was that, I have angels around me. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how the duality comes back into play, where it's just like, you might be going through things, but also know that there's people around to help you. There's energies around to help you. There's things, there's Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? There's the Buddha. There's a lot of ascended masters that you can learn from, that you can use, like all the archangels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Uriel, you know what I mean? So it's like, once you tap into those, it could help you with all the things that you need help with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's funny when he said Archangel Michael, I literally was saying that in my head, and then he said it.
There
I was
it is,
like,
there it is,
period.
see?
See, look. Yeah, no, definitely. It's really important to remind yourself of like all the light and beauty. I feel like nature always reminds me of that. Like when in doubt, like even just going for a walk in my neighborhood, it's pretty nice. I live in the suburbs and it's pretty nice. Sometimes, a majority of the time, obviously, it's the suburbs. And there's lots of flowers and stuff around. And I feel like that always reminds me that life is beautiful and you to be grateful for the little things in life.
That's what I was gonna say. You gotta look at the simple things. You know what I mean? If you see a beautiful tree right there, like
Yeah,
notice
you're
how
like,
green
"God
it is.
damn."
The sky's so blue today. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
Like
Look at that cloud.
Exactly. You gotta get excited for the little things. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like that's a
Because
really pretty rock right there.
it's really
Like,
nice to have the nice clothes and the nice cars and things like that and chase the money. But if you're not excited about the little things in life, you're gonna get those things and you're not gonna be fulfilled.
Yeah,
know
not
what I
at
mean?
all. Not at all. Yeah, you have to be excited about the little shit, and that's what I also tell myself too. Because like I feel like, I've definitely got a lot of stuff going on. I'm not gonna say I don't have not a lot going on. I have a lot of things going on, but it's everything as a Virgo sun, as just a woman of color living today in America. Like we just have such high expectations for ourselves and for what we want to have and what we think we should have and all of these things. So it's the getting stuck in comparison mode can really fuck you up. That's really the thief of
absolutely.
joy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like really just like having like, you just really got to focus on yourself and being like the best version of you that you can be. And I love that that's where you've been going with your healing process. Like that's where the shadows has been taking you. It's been taking you to like the light, which is beautiful, which is something that people need to go through. They need to, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to like feel the feelings, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm afraid to feel the feeling. I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect, please. I hope I don't come off like that way. But yeah, no, it's definitely hard to feel the feelings, but once you do, once you're able to get through it, you're like, damn, like now look at me, look at me, look at me. You know what I mean? Like this, you're like on the other side of the situation. So I love that you're doing that. It's very exciting. Also, there's a lot of like weed smoking comments on the album, and you talk about how you're taking a break right now. How does that feel when you listen to it and you're like also not smoking? Do you feel like tell me how it feels?
I get the craving sometimes, if that's what you're asking.
Yes.
But you know, like I think we discussed it before. You were like, you know, it was a time in your life. You know what I mean? So it's not. I guess I had a small concern that, you know, if people get so attached to this album that it's like, oh, smoke, or they try to pass me a blunt or something like that. I don't want to seem hypocritical or something like that. But I like the point that you brought up. It's like, you know, it was just a time in your life where you were doing that. This is a time in your life where you're giving it a break. Whatevs, like it's not really that big of a deal. You know what I mean? And evidently is, you know, you smoked in the garage. We were right there. I didn't have to hit it. It doesn't bother me if I see someone smoking in front of me. I do get the craving sometimes, but you know, it's fine. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm actually glad I could be around it and not have to be bothered by the fact that I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? It's been 29 days, so I feel really good.
29 days strong. Yeah. Yes. He's gone longer than that before, people. Don't trust me. But yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I love that for you. That's awesome. Yeah, that's growth. That's definitely growth, because when you can just be around it and just be unfazed or by anything that you're like is considered a vice. Like I feel like some people are addicted to social media, or they're addicted to like complaining, or like, you know what I mean? So like everybody has their own vices. So shout out to you for making the change and taking the initiative. And like you said, you're currently taking a break. Maybe one day you'll feel like doing it again at some point. Like you never know. You're just like, it shows growth too, I think, as an artist, that like you're dropping this project that like you went through a lot of things. Like I know you said one of the songs you recorded it like about a year ago and stuff like that. So it's like still continuing to push that project out there, I think, is a lot of growth, because sometimes we don't want to look back and we just want to be like, let's just focus on the new. Like I'm so much right now. Like so much is going good for me right now. Like let's just talk about right now. And you're like, nah, let me actually let people know what's up, what I've been through, what I'm going through, and then I'll hit them with like the new stuff. But yeah, I love that.
Yeah, well, so thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you listening to the album. Lights and Shadows coming December 4th. Follow her on all her socials.
Yes.
You want to hit them off again with that?
Yeah, of course. So come book a reading with me. I am Reina LaFlame on all of my socials, Twitter, Instagram. Check out my podcast. It's The Bridge Between 888. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podchaser. We talk about spirituality, life, all types of great things. We definitely have to have you on the pod when we get back to recording at some point. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very grateful that you thought of me. I'm very grateful for being here. If you guys are watching this, please give him a listen. Check out the music videos. Give him a like. Give him a follow on all of his socials. And check me out if you want a tarot card reading. Reina LaFlame. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for everyone to listen to Lights and Shadows. It's going to be great. I know it. Yeah, come December 4th.
December 4th. So thank you guys. I love you. Thank you for watching Steelo Free TV. It is what it is. We out.
Thank you. Bye.
I've been trying to get high, I've been trying to get high, I've been trying to spread my wings, trying to make it to the sky.